This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. As we continue to listen, learn, and grow, we are amplifying Black voices and perspectives in an effort to start a new COVID-19 vaccine conversation. We're sharing stories intended to help us navigate this unprecedented time together and to co-create solutions in support of the Black community. Hear these stories at weconsiderwa.org.
Geico asks, how would you love a chance to save some money on insurance? Of course you would. And when it comes to great rates on insurance, Geico can help. Like with insurance for your car, truck, motorcycle, boat, and RV. Even help with homeowners or renters coverage. Plus, add an easy-to-use mobile app, available 24-hour roadside assistance, and more, and Geico is an easy choice. Switch today and see all the ways you could save. It's easy. Simply go to geico.com or contact your local agent today.
Hey, it's Miles. Thank you guys for listening to the Men's Room Daily Podcast.
Have you heard our newest podcast? It's called The Greatest Story Never Told.
Download it today on radio.com. Be sure to subscribe. New episodes are uploaded every Tuesday at noon.
Unfortunately, what you're about to hear is real. The members of this radio program are simply not that bright, or what some people would call educated. They are merely stupid. They're not trying to offend anyone on purpose. And all have played doctors on TV. You have been warned and are cordially invited to join the party. This is the Men's Room.
Forget it, man, and get with the countdown. Get with the countdown. Shake this square world and blast off for Kicksville. The trippers, the grasshoppers, the hip ones, all gathered in secrecy and flying high as a kite.
This is the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill. You know what they say, shake your radio more than 3 times, and you're playing with it. You're listening to the Men's Room.
And away we go. Welcome to Season 16, episode number 3486. Along with Steve the Thrill Hill, the Ted Smith, and Mike Hawk. And you are in the Men's Room. On tap today, it is the random question. Your guess is as good as mine. Categories: delicious coffee and the bugs we hate the most. We will play Profile This, plus headlines, a Men's Room shot of the day, fun with listener emails, and everyone's favorite, TV Time with Ted.
Click, clack.
You're getting drunk. All right, here we go. Florida woman gets naked and destroys an Outback Steakhouse, like an Australian bushranger. Meanwhile, a Texas mom is arrested after posing as a 13-year-old to show the school their security poses a danger. Man wins $1 million at Michigan gas station, which really pumps him up. The German military in Afghanistan no longer has delicious beer to pour in their cup. And a felon with no gun permit tries to bring a gun in his carry-on at the Pittsburgh airport. Does not work. That is all coming on today's very special episode of The Men's Room.
And now, here's the question.
Hola, bitches. Good day to you and yours. All right, every expectant parent, they just want a healthy kid. Now, you might have a preference of a boy or girl, but whatever you get, you hope it's healthy, you hope it's normal, and you hope it isn't born with 2 mouths. Well, a little girl in South Carolina, she was born with 2 mouths, complete with lips, teeth, and a tongue, all of which were functional. And if it sounds freaky, well, it is. I made the mistake of looking at the picture. Anyway, doctors were able to sort of make the second mouth go away, but not without some complications. But whatever the case, she'll have a very interesting story to share when she gets older. And so will a 2-month-old in Florida. Now, she was not born with 2 mouths, but she was in a car when her father got into a high-speed chase with the police. And that's not even the interesting part of the story. No, the interesting part is when Dad got out of the car and was surrounded by the cops, he threw his baby at them. Good times. Good times. Seems that when people get upset, they make bad decisions. You know, some people throw their babies at the police, while other people, I don't know, they set their neighbor's house on fire because they didn't mow the lawn. That's what happened in Iowa a few weeks back. But let me be clear. The man did not burn down their house because they did not mow their lawn. He burned down their house because they did not mow his lawn. How ridiculous is that? I mean, look, if you're going to burn down a house, at least burn down your own damn house, like the guy in Utah. Now, sure, he says he burned down his house because he didn't want his girlfriend to move in, which might be true. But also, he was high on methamphetamine. I'll let you be the judge. Just saying, all of those things were in play when he made that decision. But But look, these are just some of the stories we saw. Stories that left us with many questions. Questions we'd like to ask you in the form of our random question, and this is how it works. You call us, we ask you a question that's completely random. And after you share your story, we will share with you the news story that inspired said question.
Be part of the big show, the random question. Call 206-421-ROCK. Like the Men's Room on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Men's Room Live. And send those emails to the Men's Room at KISW.com.
This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. As we continue to listen, learn, and grow, we are amplifying Black voices and perspectives in an effort to start a new COVID-19 vaccine conversation. We're sharing stories intended to help us navigate this unprecedented time together and to co-create solutions in support of the Black community. Hear these stories at weconsiderwa.org.
Geico asks, how would you love a chance to save some money on insurance? Of course you would. And when it comes to great rates on insurance, Geico can help. Like with insurance for your car, truck, motorcycle, boat, and RV. Even help with homeowners or renters coverage. Plus, add an easy-to-use mobile app, available 24-hour roadside assistance, and more, and Geico is an easy choice. Switch today and see all the ways you could save. It's easy. Simply go to geico.com or contact your local agent today.
We return to the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill. 99.9 KISW.
Oh, Charles, and away we go. Welcome to Season 16, Episode number 3,486. What a large and in charge program we have for you today.
You think so?
Guaranteed future repeat. Once again, the exciting return. If your guess is as good as mine, you get to pick from 2 categories and try to get as many right in said category before 3 strikes and you're out. And today, our 2 categories dealing with the cicadas that we keep talking about. As trillions of cicadas have been invading the United States, they're still not annoying enough to make a new list of the most hated bugs in America.
You know why? Because they're only in one part of the country at a time.
And only 4% of the people, even in those areas, say these other 10 bugs are worse.
And again, the only reason why, cicadas only out there about 2 weeks. They're very loud, they're very annoying, but they do not sting you, they do not bite you.
You can only count probably a handful of insects that you find to be friendly, nice, that intrigue people, that don't freak them the hell out. Now, for example, a ladybug. A ladybug flies on your shoulder. You don't lose your mind, right?
No, even my kids.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is about ladybugs, but inherently it seems like no one's scared of the goddamn thing.
A butterfly flies on your shoulder. You look over and you go, oh, look. A butterfly on my shoulder.
What if it's a moth?
A big ugly moth lights on your head. And you hit it and this big powder poof. Just God! Ah! You know?
They're just ugly butterflies.
Right. If you see a praying mantis, you're like, oh, look, it's a praying mantis. You know what I mean?
You
see a camel spider, you're like, camel spider! It's a huge bug. You know?
Yeah, I mean, a praying mantis, they're cool to look at, but I'm cool to not interact with.
What I'm saying is there's not a lot of bugs out there people like.
That we like, yeah.
You know what I mean? Maybe a handful. And other than that, everything else is on the bugs we hate the most list for the most part. So that's one of the categories. And then as we sit here and cafes are opening it up and everything else, we get a new list of the 10 best cities for coffee lovers in the United States. They are the usual suspects, but either way, that's our categories today. On Your Guess is as good as mine. And today is the day that we do our random question. 206-421-ROCK.
Random.
Hello, David. Welcome to the Men's Room.
Random.
Todd, my German.
Hola.
It's shaking.
What are you doing, man?
Oh man, I'm living large. I'm working from home and I'm listening to you guys. That's much better.
Yeah, that's a good deal, man.
What are you doing for a living that you get to work from home?
I am in charge of learning and development for a small biotech in the Pacific Northwest.
Okay, so you're smarter than us. Just say that. Oddly enough, an email has been circulating around that said today, June 7th, hey, all radio employees, you are more than welcome to come back to the offices, right? Mm-hmm. So our boss is here, and he's roaming the halls alone. I mean, not one person has shown.
Tom's here.
Is Tom here?
Yeah,
but Tom's been coming in.
Right. Yeah.
That's what Tom does. All right, so there's 2 people other than our show that are fresh to the building, so to speak.
Yeah, that's about it. All right, let's go with this one. Let's see here. Okay. Hopefully you can answer this. What would you say is the worst decision that you made on drugs or alcohol? Worst decision. Not that we make a lot of good ones, but, what was the
Some
worst
are
one?
worse than others, yeah.
Oh, God. Hold on a second. I'd have to really think about this one.
I mean, even if it's a drinking, like my worst decision drinking, and I've done a lot of dumb things drinking. In fact, we're notorious for that, and I don't care for the most part, but looking back, My worst decision was driving from D.C. to Baltimore at night with one eye closed because when they were both open, all the headlights doubled.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
I wasn't happy about it at the time, but yeah, that was a terrible decision.
That is correct. That does not sound like a great idea.
Okay, we don't need to rub it in. I've already confessed.
I'll tell you what, as the years have gone on, I'll give you a perfectly good example of my life. I have a rule of ATM machines and what time it is. Now, probably 10, 15 years ago, I had a midnight cutoff. Mm-hmm. That seemed like a fair thing.
But that's when we're going to buy drugs and we needed cash.
Then that has slowly bumped down to a 10 o'clock cutoff.
Are you serious?
Oh, yeah. You know why? Because the more older I get, the more I like a good night's sleep. And I know that if I'm getting cash, most things you can buy with, your debit card, or you can buy with, credit card. You need cash for certain things.
Right.
But
usually those things happen at about 10.
Right.
That's the problem.
I've cut that out, so I don't do that.
Midnight, yeah. You know what? I think the one that really springs to mind, I'm going to try to edit this heavily. I was about 22, I want to say, and I got really blistering drunk with a friend of mine that I hadn't seen for a few years since high school. He'd gotten married. He was in the military, and the three of us were at his place at his barracks, I should say, but private, and we got drunk, and we decided on a devil's three-way, which, sounds like an interesting idea, but I'm trying to think of the nicest way of saying this. I think he was much more interested in being with me.
Oh, cool. Surprise.
Yeah. I was trying to set up a line of demarcation, a no-fly zone, if you will.
Yeah.
And the no-fly zone was crossed many times, including a hand on top of a hand, and a very deep look going, I've been looking forward to this for longer than I can tell you.
Did you have any clue that was the case?
No, none at all. Man.
Is he a good kisser?
He didn't stay married to her for very long, but then he did get married again, but to another woman. So I don't know if it was just me or if it was the drink or if he's in denial or something. But yeah, that one. Yeah, that was a bad one.
People get drunk, but I don't know that it changes their sexuality. One thing about being drunk is people typically, in my experience, they might be sloppy, they might be loud, they might be obnoxious, but they're not really liars. The only lie they tell you is that they're not as drunk as you think they are, and we all do that. But, I've never gotten drunk and been like, I'm going to make out with Miles. I might start hitting on different chicks, but I don't suddenly find something else attractive.
I think the worst decision, it's like anything else. Sometimes you hit the lottery, sometimes you don't life. But there's been numerous times in my life where you go out, you have a good time. What are the chances of you actually getting laid? You know what I mean? That doesn't happen very often.
In my experience, virtually none.
That's what I'm saying. So there have been a couple times where I've started day drinking, hanging out, get hammered, maybe go to a party or so, maybe take a quick nap, crash, get up, do the same thing, go out, and then I am totaled. And in these moments where I am absolutely totaled, my chances for some reason of getting laid go through the roof. And I can't do anything about it, and I can't perform because I'm so damn hammered because I didn't know that I was going to have a chance to have sex. You know what I'm saying? If I'd have known that, I'd have strategized a little bit differently throughout the evening.
Well, sure.
I wouldn't have done so many shots. I wouldn't be like, because I would. But you never know. You know what I'm saying?
You don't know.
And those times that have happened like that, I'm just like, wow, I'm wasted, which is not a good place to be in. Reason we ask, what's the worst decision that you made on drugs or alcohol? If you've been having second thoughts about a significant other moving in with you, there are many ways to deal with it. For one, you could talk it over.
Sure.
There's a guy in Clearfield, Utah, just north of Salt Lake City, who had a much more dramatic plan. He set fire to his own mobile home so that there was no place to move in. He's a 29-year-old. His name is Jordan Burgalt. And when the firefighters showed up and saw the place ablaze, they asked him, what happened? He said, I know exactly how the fire started. I started it because things with my girlfriend had not been going well. And if I burned down the house, I no longer have to worry about her moving in. Unfortunately, Jordan just didn't burn down his own home. He also caused significant damage to the place next door. Luckily, it doesn't sound like anyone was hurt there. By the way, Jordan also told police he was addicted to meth and that he's heard voices that have told him to harm himself or others. So he was charged earlier this week with aggravated arson, which is a first-degree felony.
I do appreciate that he was honest about it. How'd the fire start?
Yeah.
Oh, I said it.
Like
the girl's going to move in.
That way they don't have to come in and try to figure out what started the fire, waste everybody's
Save
time.
everyone the time and money.
Electrical, this.
Random.
Didn't you just call your girlfriend? Yeah. Say I'm having second thoughts about this. I guess he doesn't like confrontation. Hello, Lisa. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola.
Hola. Lisa, welcome to the program, the random question. Okay. All right, Lisa. It's kind of a weird one. But
Cool.
What would you say is the greatest thing that you have ridden on? Greatest thing you've ridden on. Steve's taken a couple of helicopter rides.
I do not espouse the greatness of them. I have done it.
Yeah.
I would like to not do it again, meaning I will.
Right. Well, I mean,
I'm glad I did it, but in the times I was doing it, I was a lot more tense than I thought I would.
Okay. So personally, I mean, it could be like a really cool sports car. It could, there's all kinds of things.
I think the first thing that pops up in my head was an elephant. I've ridden on an elephant.
Yes, that's a cool thing.
Tell me this was sanctioned. You didn't climb a fence at the zoo or something.
No, definitely not. It was, my dad took me to a circus when I was a kid, which I found out I do not like clowns at, but I was able to ride on an elephant. That was really cool.
Damn.
How long do you get to ride this thing?
I don't know. I was young. I don't really remember, but a few minutes. Like, you just go around the little circle. It's kind of cool.
Okay. How about amusement rides? Is there anything that you've ridden like that was crazy?
In Disneyland or in California Adventures, they have a roller coaster that's shaped like that goes upside down. It looks like Mickey Mouse. That one was really fun, although not my thing.
I've ridden.
No, you're not a roller coaster person?
I'm a roller coaster person, so I try to if there's one, I will ride. So I think my favorite is the Loch Ness Monster, which is in Busch Gardens.
I remember that.
That's a great one. It's got a loop in it. It's got a couple different loops.
But it's weird how this works, right? Because, I like roller coasters. I like the speed. I like going upside down, et cetera, et cetera. But then other rides that, in theory, are a lot less scary freak me the hell out.
Mm-hmm. I've always wanted to do one of those alpine flume things where you basically, it's kind of like you sit in a cart that has wheels on it, right? And you go down the mountain.
Oh, like the mountainside
Yeah,
thing?
like a mountain slide on a track.
Yeah.
I've never done that before. That's one of those things where I would really like to try that. Because it's like a giant luge for the most part. But you're going down the entire side of a hill. They had a couple in Pennsylvania growing up that I know of, and there's a few around the world that are more famous.
We did something similar, man. I have a hard time remembering this. I was maybe 8 or 9 years old, but when we lived in Colorado, my father drove us somewhere in the mountains. I don't know what it is, but it was a potato sack, essentially. And they had this massive slide that went down the side of the mountain. And as a kid, in my mind, I'm like, this can be the greatest thing ever. And I remember they let me go, and that thing started going down. And I was so glad when it ended. It goes a lot faster. It had a lot more banks. Now that's it. I would do it again.
Yeah. Well, the reason we asked what's the greatest thing that you have ever ridden on, Jeff Bezos will ride his own rocket into space next month, which is a pretty big deal, joining the first crew to fly in a Blue Origin capsule. The founder of Amazon announced today that he will launch July 20th from Texas, along with his firefighter brother Mark, also some dude who won a highest bidder thing in a charity auction. 10 minutes up and down is what it's going to take.
In theory, yes.
Yes, he is stepping down as Amazon CEO on July 5th. 15 days before liftoff, and then he'll be launched up into space. To see the Earth from space, it changes you. It changes your relationship with this planet, with humanity. It's one Earth.
How does he know? He hasn't been up there yet.
Yeah.
I mean, he's probably right, and I don't disagree, but you don't know that.
I want to go on this flight because it's a thing I've wanted to do in my life. It's an adventure, and it's a big deal for me. He said he invited his younger brother, his best friend, to share the journey and make it even more meaningful. I'm not so sure I would want to be on the first one.
Like I said, my father has a very strong theory. He said there's nothing wrong with being the second person. He's convinced. He said, look, the guy that discovered fire probably also burned to death. Mm-hmm. The second guy said, hey, hold it away from your hair.
Right. I think the guy who finished second in the first American Idol was more famous than,
Who was that? Was that Clay Aiken?
Clay Aiken.
Who won it? Oh, Ruben Studdard,
Ruben
right?
Studdard, didn't he?
That wasn't the first American Idol.
Well,
Clay Aiken came in second.
Clarkson was the first one.
Okay, all right. Well, she did okay. More of the random question coming up, 206-421-ROCK.
This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. As we continue to listen, learn, and grow, we are amplifying Black voices and perspectives in an effort to start a new COVID-19 vaccine conversation. We're sharing stories intended to help us navigate this unprecedented time together and to co-create solutions in support of the Black community. Hear these stories at weconsiderwa.org.
Geico asks, how would you love a chance to save some money on insurance? Of course you would. And when it comes to great rates on insurance, Geico can help. Like with insurance for your car, truck, motorcycle, boat, and RV. Even help with homeowners or renters coverage. Plus, add an easy-to-use mobile app, available 24-hour roadside assistance, and more, and Geico is an easy choice. Switch today and see all the ways you could save. It's easy. Simply go to geico.com or contact your local agent today.
99.9 KISW. Yeah! You're in the men's room.
Random question, 206-421-ROB.
Hello, Ben. Welcome to the men's room.
Random.
Liquor and whores.
Liquor and whores. Ben, welcome to the program. Random question. All right, Ben, let's see here. Okay. I think this was one you can do. Ben, how many dinosaurs can you name?
Oh, man. That's really tough because most dinosaurs that people name aren't actually dinosaurs. They're just creatures that look like dinosaurs from different ages. So, like, plesiosaur, of course, Tyrannosaur, all the normal ones, Brachiosaur.
Okay. So how do you recognize
Pterosaurs.
that a lot of people name false dinosaurs, as it were, but can't necessarily name a lot of...
Are you associating this like with a woolly mammoth or something like that? Is that what you mean?
No, like a lot of creatures that look like they would be dinosaurs, like a lot of like flying dinosaurs and stuff, or like a lot of aquatic animals that look like dinosaurs aren't actual dinosaurs. My roommate is super smart in this stuff and can actually tell you why. I've just had my mind blown by his archaeological factoids for years now.
So if you said this is a Brachiosaurus or a Brontosaurus, would he argue that they are not dinosaurs, or a Stegosaurus or something like that?
I think those all qualify as dinosaurs.
But some of the flying ones...
Yeah.
I feel like I've read something along the lines of what you're saying, where some of the flying ones technically aren't dinosaurs for whatever scientific reason. But
well, they're all chickens,
exactly.
right?
Well, in layman's terms, they're like, just go ahead and call it a dinosaur.
Okay, all right.
Even though they're not. How many can you name? I could see...
probably a handful. That I remember.
Can you do 10? You think
can
you
I do 10?
Right,
probably not. Okay.
We got T-Rex?
We got Tyrannosaurus Rex. Let's go Brachiosaurus. There's Brontosaurus. There's Stegosaurus.
Wait, wasn't there something with the Bronchio and the Brontosaurus? I don't remember. Whatever. Continue.
Okay. I'll go saltwater crocodile.
You had what? Stegosaurus. Triceratops.
Yeah, Triceratops.
T-Rex. Allosaurus. Velociraptors. Thank you, Jurassic Park.
It's tough. Here's the bottom line. Oh, okay, Mike, you got some more?
No, that was 8.
Okay, that was 8. All right.
Do you have a list of some of them? Like
what are the most common?
I just have the list that you guys have taken down here because I wanted to see just how many you did. I can get you some, though.
Okay.
Stegosaurus, Triceratops, T-Rex, Allosaurus, Brontosaurus, Brachiosaurus. God damn.
Your kid knows more about dinosaurs than you do.
I feel like we should be better. There was a time in my life where I rattle off 20 of them.
Exactly. And just so you were wondering, last week, you probably missed it, it was International Dinosaur Day. I don't know how you celebrate it, but either way, a new poll found American adults know very little about dinosaurs, even though we loved them as kids. It's one of those things we just forget.
Sure.
Here's the craziest stat out of the survey. Close to half of Americans said they think it's possible that dinosaurs still exist in some remote corner of the world.
No. I mean, not the dinosaurs we pictured Jurassic. You can do the crocodiles and all that kind of thing.
If you count birds, I mean, they're not really technically that, but they are. Here are a few more quick stats on International Dinosaur Day. 1 in 5 adults think dinosaurs were still roaming the earth in large numbers 100 years ago.
Wow.
Right.
Jesus.
More like 65 million years ago.
Jurassic Park really would not have been interesting if they were around 100 years ago.
54% of people think that dinosaurs only lived in Africa and North America. Obviously, dinosaur bones have been found all over the world. And the average adult can name only 4 different dinosaurs. T-Rexes are number 1. 47% could not identify a Triceratops.
Really? Oh. That one I could nail.
Yeah.
I'm trying, again, Stegosaurus, because that was the one that had like the ridges on the back, right?
I feel
had
like
the Godzilla kind of look on the back.
Stegosaurus had the spines on his tail.
Right.
Oh, the spiky tail. Too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what he whipped people with.
I feel like those were the top three. You had the T-Rex, you had the Triceratops, and you had the Stegosaurus.
Right, and that was showed like the Triceratops, and like, look, it could fight the T-Rex, it had those big-ass horns, it would kind of gore him in the belly. I remember the Allosaurus was like the precursor to the T-Rex, of the kind of a smaller version of the same thing.
You've already said Velociraptor, the Spinosaurus, which was also another cool one. I just basically looked up the top 10 dinosaurs here. Spinosaurus being one. That was the one from Jurassic Park 3. Had the big old fin there on the back, long pointed snout.
Is there a water dinosaur, like some kind of kick-ass thing, man? You know what I'm saying? That was just a badass back in the water. You know what I mean?
I'm sure there was.
There had to be, right? There had to be something that was just...
Because the Megalodon is not that old, right?
Right.
Like, that's not 65 million years back. I think that's more...
I don't believe so, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Random.
All right, what are their top 10, Mike?
Let's see. Their top 10 is pretty much what you'd think. Number 1 being T-Rex, number 2 Triceratops, number 3 Velociraptor, Stegosaurus, Spinosaurus at 5, the
I don't know how to say it either, but right.
Archaeopteryx, which is basically just a big old bird. The Brachiosaurus at number 7, the Allosaurus at number 8, Apatosaurus at number 9, which is another long-necked dinosaur there, and then the Dilophosaurus, which scared the living hell out of me when I was a kid.
Do they have a picture of that one?
That's the one from Jurassic Park that had the big old fin on it and it shot venom.
Oh, yeah.
I thought they said that was a fake one. Now, look, I just wanted to... Jurassic Park came out. I thought they said, look, obviously they took liberties with the movie.
So here's what it says. Despite what you saw in Jurassic Park, Dilophosaurus did not spit poison, it did not have a neck frill, and it wasn't the size of a Labrador Retriever. However, this dinosaur remains popular with dinosaur enthusiasts even after they learned the truth. After studying fossils from North America and China, scientists believe that Dilophosaurus was about 20 feet long from head to tail and weighed about 1,000 pounds.
Now, the other thing I heard is that velociraptors, right? Because Jurassic Park, let's face it, that's where most of our quote-unquote knowledge is coming from in this moment. Velociraptors, they were like 3 feet tall. They're like really big chickens.
Yes.
They weren't as... I mean, they said, look, they would still... They're still hunted in packs and they rip you up. But they were tiny. They were like little Peter Dinklages of the dinosaur world.
It says Velociraptor, which actually means swift or speedy thief, was small in size, about 3 feet tall and 6 feet long. Smarter than most dinosaurs and a fast runner on 2 hind legs.
It's still that tall, though.
I mean, look, I'm still running from an angry dog.
Yeah,
so I'm certainly running from that. But in the movie, they made the thing like about, 7 feet tall.
And about 12 feet long.
Right.
With tail, yeah.
Right.
I mean, it can still rip you up. Why do you need to add all that stuff?
I don't know.
I'm just saying. All right.
They say they were portrayed by the much bigger Deinonychus. I don't know. It's basically a big velociraptor.
Okay. Now we know. So now we know. We can name about 8 between the toes. Hello, James. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola. James, welcome to the program. Random question. All right, James, let's go with this one. What would you say is your weirdest or strangest physical attribute? What is your weirdest or strangest physical attribute?
Probably my attribute, I have a handlebar mustache that goes all the way down under my chin and about 3 inches down into my neck.
Wow. How long did it take you to grow that?
That took me probably about a year to grow. You're constantly, trimming and cutting it.
You have to say, how much maintenance does it take so it doesn't just look scuzzy? Because I'm assuming you keep that thing in perfect reverse horseshoe beauty.
Oh, yeah, exactly. It does take maintenance because, I mean, every week I've got to get the trimmer out and make sure the lines are nice and straight, because if not, they can just get bushy, man, kind of like, the Tuttle's, goatee or handlebar.
How many times do you hear Yosemite Sam in the course of a month?
Oh, God, I quit counting, brother. I quit counting.
We put a stereotype on regular mustaches as far as people's professions go. As far as just having a regular stash, there's always been firemen, there's always been NFL football coaches,
cops,
we could go on and on and on and on. I'm curious,
I've actually had people stop me walking through downtown Seattle looking at me weird and go, dude, I have got to get a picture of you with that mustache. And I said, dude, line them up. So I take pictures with random people. They're like, we see the handlebar, but we've never seen it go down, all the way under the chin and about halfway down the actual neck. And they were like, I've had people tell me it looks cool. I've had people tell me it looks stupid. I've had women walk up and they have to touch it. It's like, is it soft all the way down? And I'm like, well, I want to find out. And they touch it and they're like, oh my God, it is.
Do you think that people would recognize you if you shaved your face?
No.
Yeah, I don't think so, too.
I've had this probably for, about 10 years now. I mean, I used to have a full goatee, and it would actually go, it was about a foot long, and that's when I decided, time for a change and shave and trim. And
well, this is why I ask, what do you do for a living? I'm curious, because I imagine you Uli's got kind of a handlebar mustache, like making sausage, or like if you were the guy that was making pretzels someplace, be like, this makes sense. You know what I'm saying? But like, what do you do?
No, I actually drive semi. I got a CDL Class A license.
I would assume you could be like the best cocktail, bartender in town or something like that. Just have that.
With the Yosemite Sam?
Well, yeah.
I think the truck driver, if you curl it on the ends, I go, okay, this dude works in front of people. But based on how you described yours, truck driver, I'm like, that makes sense.
Yep,
or you're the guy operating the roller coaster at a real cheap fare. I think it's one of the two.
All right, well, that's very cool. What is your weirdest physical attribute? The reason we asked that random question. Baby girl, as you said earlier in the setup, Steve, had her second mouth complete with lips, teeth, and tongue removed in a groundbreaking operation. 6-month-old is one of 35 people since 1990 to have suffered from diprosopus, which causes duplication of facial features. Doctors first spotted the abnormality at week 28 of pregnancy, thought it was maybe a cyst or something. However, when the little girl was born in Charleston, South Carolina, medics discovered the growth was actually a second mouth that had no connection to her main mouth.
That's a picture.
That's something. Wow.
So I want you to picture a regular face and then the under.
That mouth, by the way, could breathe, eat, and drink normally.
Yeah, they said that she could flick her tongue out of it. And again, it's not connected to her main mouth. And I'm looking at the picture now. It's disturbing. So picture a normal human face, and then on your chin over to the right, there is another mouth with lips.
Mm-hmm. The whole thing, man. Look at that. That is insane.
Right.
At the 6-month follow-up, the incisions were well healed, and the patient was feeding without difficulty. So they were able to successfully remove the second mouth of the
That
is something.
Especially when they're crying and screaming at that age.
Yeah, they said that they're not connected. The mouths weren't, but that the other mouth
operated independently.
Right. It was also producing saliva and all that, right? So, like you lick the corner of your mouth if you think you're about to drool, and this little baby tongue would pop out and do that. And that disturbs me.
Mm-hmm. You guys want to rewind back to dinosaurs here for a second ago?
Okay. All right, what do we got?
So from the comment section there, they said that the swimming dinosaur that you were talking about was most likely the Mosasaurus, which was also in the new Jurassic World movie. Big old thing that would come out of the water, right? I took a look at it, and that's the one that I remembered, and I actually typed in, is Mosasaurus a dinosaur? And it does say Mosasaurs are not dinosaurs. They are reptiles that are closely related to snakes and monitor lizards. Mosasaurus went extinct at the end of the Cretaceous during the end of Cretaceous mass extinction event.
Yeah, but this thing is badass.
It is. It's absolutely
just not a
badass.
dinosaur.
That's not a dinosaur.
And it lived at the time of dinosaurs, and I would consider it a dinosaur.
I would too.
What is the criteria then?
Here we go.
Like, you lived when dinosaurs were around.
It's a dinosaur.
Right. You're a big, giant ass thing in the ocean.
Yeah.
What
do you just call it the dinosaur era? I'm thinking that any animal on this planet that's gone extinct is some degree a dinosaur.
If it didn't come back after 65 million years, right. Dinosaur. Look at that thing.
That's what I'm saying.
It's a goddamn dinosaur. They're going to tell you
it's like a whale shark.
Okay, it says the main characteristics dinosaurs share. This is from nhm.ac.uk. They had an upright stance with legs perpendicular to their body. This is the main feature that sets dinosaurs apart from other reptiles. Like other reptiles, they laid eggs, with the exception of some birds. For example, penguins. Dinosaurs lived on land, not in the sea.
Aha.
Their skull had a hole between the eye sockets and nostrils. This feature is shared by all archosaurs. Dinosaurs also had 2 holes behind the eye sockets. Large, strong jaw muscles went through the holes to attach directly to the top of the skull. As a result, the jaws were able to open wide and clamp down with more force.
So not a dinosaur. Just looks like a dinosaur.
I'm still saying it's a dinosaur.
There's a lot of prehistoric reptiles, but they don't all qualify as dinosaurs.
Oh, it's garbage.
Come on.
Boo.
If I go to the Smithsonian, they got the dinosaur bones. You're going to nitpick on that crap.
Yeah, they're
technically, they should not be in this wing. This one.
Somebody would. It's not a dinosaur.
Just walk by and read the plaque, dude.
Just read the plaque, shut up.
Exactly. Watch the video, shut up.
What else you got?
I'm just looking. It says marine reptiles such as the Ichthyosaurus, Plesiosaurus, and Mosasaurs are not dinosaurs. I'm just trying to get all the information I can here.
Whatever. Mm-hmm. I hope they
all dinosaurs to me.
Yeah, dinosaurs.
All dogs go to heaven,
Except sunshine. Yeah. Hello, Eric. Welcome to the men's room.
Hey, who's there?
Hola.
Hola.
Eric, we got you, man. Can you hear us all right?
I can. Let me think outside. I'm in a wheelchair, so it takes a minute to get away from my TV and the noise, but I'm rolling out the door. So what's going on?
That's all it takes, man, to get a nice cell phone coverage in the area.
Yeah. No.
Okay, maybe you should be able to answer this question, I believe. Let's see here. When was the last time that you needed to ask somebody for help with something?
Last time I needed to ask somebody for help?
Yeah.
Well, I was riding my quad, okay, and I was up in the hills of Gold Bar, okay, it was an ATV, and I came around the corner too fast, and I flew up my quad, and I hit a stump with my stomach, and I laxed my liver, so my liver was hemorrhaging, and so I had to hike out of the hills, and I came to this cabin, and I crawled up on the doorstep, and the lady looked at me, and she's like, who the hell are you, why you're here? She said, I really need help. And I really did need help, guys, and she called the medevac and got me out of there. So it was pretty cool. I asked somebody for help and got it when I really needed it.
Does that have anything to do with the fact that you're in a wheelchair now?
It kind of does, because you guys had that topic earlier about what'd you do stupid drunk, and I had several of those, but that was one of them. I was drinking, and yeah, so it's all kind of came together as your show came on and continued on, but it did, yeah.
Okay.
So,
how reluctant was this woman to help you? At first.
Pardon me?
How reluctant was this woman to help you? Did she think you're running a con?
She was really scared of me. She was like, she just saw this random dude on her doorstep at, 9 at night. Because it took me about 3 hours to hike out. And I'd stand up for about, 5 seconds and drop back down. My liver was bleeding. I hurt so bad. So I'd get up, I'd fall down, I'd get up, scream, fall down. And it took me 3 hours to hike about a quarter mile.
Damn.
And so when I found the door, I showed up, and she's like, I was kind of laying down and knocking on her door. And she's like, who the hell are you? And so she was a little bit reluctant and scared, but as soon as she figured out what was going on with me, she came through and helped. And I went back and thanked her later, and it was really cool. But
not that this has anything. I mean, I'm just glad you made it out there, okay? But just formatically speaking, what now happens to that four-wheeler? Like what do you do? Like you can't really say like, well, it's up on that hill up there somewhere, 3 miles up.
No, it was thrashed, and they actually my brother and my good friend went up there and they winched it out. And they got it running again and got it fixed again. And I got a special saddle for it so I can actually drive it. I'm a quadriplegic now. And so I'm able to drive it now. So it's kind of cool, but I don't go as fast, my brothers.
Yeah.
I kind of try to be slow now.
Okay. Damn. Well, we asked you the right question. And the reason we asked, when was the last time you needed to ask for help? This actually happened over the weekend up in Alaska on Saturday. A Kodiak-based U.S. Coast Guard helicopter rescued 3 adults and 2 small dogs. According to a statement posted to the U.S. Coast Guard Alaska Facebook page, they were swept across Menasha Bay by winds and run aground offshore on rocks. That's a little bit northwest of Kodiak, to give you an idea. Opens into the Gulf of Alaska. It's a popular local destination for fishing and kayaking and all that stuff. Kodiak residents Colin Dickey and Katie Gray, they watched from the deck of their home as a giant pink flamingo drifted past with 2 dogs and 3 adults on board. The man said, we were outside on our porch and I saw this giant pink flamingo floating across the bay. The first thing I thought was, oh, another invasive species. What we really thought was, it's a nice day, it is warm, but the water is freezing cold. According to U.S. Coast Guard statement, the troopers and Coast Guard determined that the safest way to rescue the stranded crew on their flamingo and their dogs would be via helicopter. As an MH-60 Jayhawk based out of the U.S. Coast Guard Air Station in Kodiak was dispatched to conduct the rescue. Holly Spence, who was one of the ones plucked from the flamingo, thanked those who had contributed to her successful rescue. Thank you, every single one of you, gentlemen, and every Kodiak resident that cared, reported and made sure that we were okay. I will never forget my 30th birthday on the floating flamingo.
Random.
Jesus.
Random.
Hello, JD. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola.
JD, what's happening? Welcome to the Random Question. Let's see here, JD. We got one for you. What did someone throw at you, JD? What did someone throw at you?
A full beer.
A full beer.
Was it in a bottle, a can, and a glass? What?
It was a glass beer.
Oh, God, it was a pint?
No, it was like a
bottle.
12-ounce glass bottle of conveniently Men's Room Red.
Oh, really? What? Did you get hit in the head with a Men's Room Red?
Not in the head, in the chest, but it spilled all over me, and so I took physical action.
Was the beer open already, or had it not been open?
Yes, sir, it was open.
Okay. And how far away was it thrown?
I'd say about 5 feet.
Okay. Was it somebody you knew?
Moderately. I had gotten a fist fight with him in high school, and I was hitting on his girlfriend, and he didn't like that too much, and so he threw the beer technically at her, but it hit me.
Right, he was trying to hit her with the beer?
Yes. And then I stood up and, did what adolescents do and fight, and then everything went over. So,
okay,
look, me and him are good friends now.
Of course, sure. Now, look, as a rule, look, we got the men's root beer. I appreciate him paying to have one, but please do not use our beer as a weapon.
Oh, I think it'd be a great
he
commercial.
grabbed your beer?
See, they're friends now. See, there's a happy ending, like when you're fighting with your friends. And you think that it's the end.
It was a beer that I bought and he drank it.
All right, well, I'm glad it was our beer then.
What a sales pitch.
They weren't friends.
Jesus Christ.
Then he hit him with the men's room.
What did someone throw at you? I've seen some crazy stuff, but this is definitely up there, said a deputy with Florida's River County Sheriff's Office in a pursuit of a suspect that started with a traffic incident and allegedly ended with a man hurling his 2-month-old baby at the deputy.
Jesus Christ.
They started following the suspect at Vero Beach after it failed to pull over. Either way, they ended up, he avoided roadblocks. They went on a 40-minute chase during. He even drove on the deflated tires. His car was ultimately surrounded outside of an apartment building. And as they approached the suspect, a woman is heard yelling, "Hey, he's got a baby." That's when James exited the car and just turned around, no regard, not a little toss, and basically threw his 2-month-old from about 6 feet away at the cop. It was kind of awkward, he said. I couldn't chase him.
Yeah.
I couldn't tackle him. Not a whole lot I can do because, well, I'm holding a baby.
Yeah.
More of the random question coming up. 206-421-ROCK.
This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. As we continue to listen, learn, and grow, we are amplifying Black voices and perspectives in an effort to start a new COVID-19 vaccine conversation. We're sharing stories intended to help us navigate this unprecedented time together and to co-create solutions in support of the Black community. Hear these stories at weconsiderwa.org.